Joining us on the air as guest one on Inside Wisconsin Sports is the co-host of the Inside Wisconsin podcast. He's loaning me out to the radio. Appreciate you, John Anderson, ESPN Sports Center anchor forever and a Green Bay, Wisconsin native. J.A., thanks for waking up and joining us here on Inside Wisconsin Sports.
Well, I remember when they started the ESPN radio network. I don't know if I can say that. If you bleep me out, I apologize.
That's quick.
And Dan Patrick started the radio show, and he promised that Oberman, his sidekick, would be his first guest. And so I thought, okay, well, I feel like I have to insist on that as well.
It was
so perfect. Here I am. As you can tell, I haven't shaved. I've been up 7 minutes. If I loved you more, I'd have been up 9 minutes. I probably would have gotten up before the 7:30, whatever it is. But here I am, and I'm super glad that. And like I kind of joked with you, since we don't have paper routes anymore, I guess this is the best I can do.
Thanks. I appreciate you getting up and joining us. So apparently your name has to start with a J if we're going to do a show together. Josh, meet John. Josh.
I was going to say, how about a J.A.?
I noticed, well, there's only one of those. That's Jordan Anthony, the fine sprinter from the University of Arkansas. I noticed you guys seem to have set aside your Packers disappointment, your Badgers disappointment, and even the 2 out of 3 losses in St. Louis disappointment to go ahead and rub it in on the Cubs that, we're spraying champagne anyway.
Yeah, we're going to do that anyway. There was an awesome picture that showed up on X yesterday. I'm not sure who posted it, but it was just a hot mess on the inside of that away locker room in St. Louis, and I'd like it no other way. It was perfect. So, all right, John, it was a really long weekend for Wisconsin sports. I mean, Wisconsin football, Packers, blowing.
Kung Fu Kenny won a gold medal, so that's good.
Hey, that's good.
He was part of the 4x1, so that was good. And then, of course, we're celebrating Cordell Tinch from earlier in the week when he won the gold medal in the 100. So Bayport's finest is a world champion, which I think is a fantastic story from a guy who was literally 3 years ago in town selling phones, Cellcom.
Yep.
And now he's out there. And I sent him a note afterwards because he did the interview with Paul Swangard, with Lewis Johnson. And they kind of talked about his comeback. And he said, I just decided I didn't want to sell. I didn't want to be a guy selling cell phones or working in paper mills. And I said to him, like, dude, that's the most Wisconsin answer ever. Like, you want to know your audience. I don't know that played in Pittsburgh, Kansas, where he goes to school, where he went to school and was working. But if you're back home, God bless the man. He didn't want to be a third shifter.
Calm our nerves, J.A. Is there anything serious to worry about the Packers in yesterday's collapse?
Well, I feel like you only have to calm your nerves if perhaps they had gotten the better of you over the first 2 wins and you had them booked for the Super Bowl already.
You know me well.
I think maybe that's the people that are panicking were the people that might have been over the top. Now, I'm not saying they weren't great, and they were very promising. But within that, I said to more than one person, you can't keep leaving 10 or 12 points on the field. You can't just be sloppy in this because somebody's going to hang around. Somebody's going to come get you. And it's going to be a team with turns out it's going to be a team with a bad record, but a good defense. And it was kind of due that was going to keep fighting, and that you pissed that away in the last 5 minutes is awful. Right, like you had this thing covered for so long. I would like it that the refs didn't call pass interference all the time just to make sure it happened. It was literally like, okay, I guess you've decided we got to get this, so it's going to be a 1-possession game coming late, and then they just messed it up. And so no, I am not panicked. Hopefully, that is a valuable lesson learned very early in week 3 in September, and not like in January. But it's, it was everything that they were rife to be, it's the NFL, man. Everybody's on scholarship. Everybody in the NFL plays in the NFL. They all have some pride. But no, I'm not super panicked. I just think maybe some folks maybe needed to be just scale it back a little. That was you? Okay. I will say this. I said on a different radio program, as good as it was, the start, I have never yet seen an NFL team that made the playoffs with 2 wins.
It's valid.
So it takes a while. So it needed a few more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Josh, you'll find, Josh, that sometimes you have to temper the enthusiasm of the host. He will get a little over his ski tips
Oh, no.
And the problem is then you and I will come off as the cranks in the room. Like, those guys hate the Packers. Those guys really must be down on the Brewers. And we're like,
Yes.
no, I just don't know that 120-42 is a realistic record. They won 14 in a row. I'm like, Trev, I don't think they're going to go into the playoffs with a 44-game win streak. I mean, there's a chance, but I doubt that. So just know, Josh, that will be the bulwark of your job, is to just every once in a while just kind of get him back between the between the ditches and get him back on the road itself. Otherwise, we kind of drive a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah, listen, that's going to be more of an issue for him than it is me. He was the one yesterday that was telling me, listen, here's all the silver lining, positive stuff, and fluffy clouds and rainbows. Yeah. And I was sitting here going, they should have won that game, Trevor. I don't care. They should have won that game. I don't care about yes, I did not expect them to go undefeated, but that was a game they should have won, and they did not win that game. And that's why it is frustrating.
You hate to give away the ones that you have in the bag. It's so hard to win a game. It really
exactly.
is. I mean this. It's so hard to win an NFL game that you hate to give away ones that you've had in your pocket that you had covered the whole way. So that's really terrible. But I'm sure now Trevor only has them winning the NFC Championship game by 3 touchdowns instead of 4.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. Yes, optimistic and sometimes ignorant as well.
Yes, unrealistic.
That. Unrealistic.
That's okay, understood. But that's good. We would rather have that than you could be my mother, who they come through the come out of the tunnel and she goes, I don't like their body language today. Like, what do you mean? Like, they're just
my gosh. I love that.
They go out 3 and out on the first drive, and she'll be like, I just knew this just wasn't our day.
That's
and
awesome.
48 after they win 48-7, then she's like, well, you have to admit that first series they were not very good.
Yeah. So, but was she wrong? That's the thing. No.
She's that way all the time, though. Trevor has them 17-0, and she has them like, God, I hope they can get a first down.
Well, yesterday that wasn't a problem. It was getting into the end zone that was the problem. We're talking to John Anderson.
Offensive line didn't look good.
No. Oh, my gosh.
No.
Did they play? John Anderson, longtime ESPN SportsCenter anchor, now happily retired as a J-School professor at the University of Missouri down there in Columbia, living his best life. Of course, John Anderson co-hosts the Inside Wisconsin podcast with me, Josh Albrecht, and I here on Inside Wisconsin Sports on the Fan. Do you think, J.A., that the Brewers took their foot off the gas on purpose here towards the end of the season? Are they laying up, or is this not a good sign?
Well, what part of it's not a good sign? You can't win 14 in a row all the time.
Yeah.
They've played some really good teams and managed to have nothing out, kind of split series. I do think that you can't keep that kind of intensity going all the way for 162 games. I think once they had it, I think maybe human nature to some is to not be that way. But no, I'm not concerned with the thing that concerns me is the thing that would concern them if they sneaked in as an 87 win team or a 97 win team, is that the way the game is played anymore, which is especially the way they play it, right? Your starters are 5, maybe 6 inning guys. And that's just a lot of stress on a bullpen. And you can't go to 40-man rosters anymore, even though you got to back them off some in the playoffs. But in September, when you used to have 40 guys and you could put fresh arms in there, and they're just that makes them no different than every other team. It's just the workload put on a bullpen is a lot, and those arms get tired. And so that is the thing that concerns me most going to the playoffs is just I think the starters will be okay. Is the bullpen going to be able to hold up, which means I think that's why you could take Miz and put him in the pen if you get your other 3 guys as the starters and be able to bring that guy out, because you got to be able to blow people way out of the bullpen in the playoffs and screw pitch into contact. Let's just let them whiff and set down. So no, I'm not terribly worried. They've been really impressive so far, and I think they treat every day the same way. So I think they're steady, and think they'll get decent results. Really, outside of the hiccup in Texas, they've been okay. They're not sure they haven't gone another 14 streak. They've been kind of .500 for a while, but I'm all right with that. I'd rather have them do that. It'd be good in the playoffs. I don't think it shows that they're failing or anything else, but you never know. Under the last manager, they didn't do very well in the playoffs anyway, so thank goodness that guy's gone, and hopefully the new fella has some success.
Josh, what's top of mind for you for Mr. Anderson before we let him on his merry day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to what you're saying, John, and I'm sitting here though, and I'm concerned about the injuries to the Brewers team. I don't think that their level of play is limping in, but in talking with Trevor, we've used the analogy of being the hottest team is like, you're going out with your wife, and is she wearing the sweatsuit? Is she got her sweatpants on like she was planning on just watching a movie and having some ice cream on the couch, or does she have on the leather jacket and the tight jeans and the high heels? What is she wearing? And hearing Woody go down and that he might not be available in the postseason, that hurts. And just looking at the injuries that this team is battling right now, it's not that record-wise they're limping in, but now is the time. You played this, you had that streak like you did in August, July and August. You had those hot months. Not expecting that to be the level of play in the postseason, but to give this team the best shot, you want those guys to be healthy. And it seems like they're creeping more towards where they were at the beginning of the season, where they're just trying to get through right now because of these people that are hurt. And I'm not a fan of that.
Okay, now I'm just depressed. I'm going to go back to bed being all sad.
Okay, see?
You can't. No, listen, like you play with who you have. You play with who you have. You've got guys. I think the big thing they have shown early on, it was like, aren't they a cute story? And now you're like, okay, those guys can play. And so, yeah, everybody's going to deal with it. And it'd be nice that Woody would be healthy. But I like who they have, and they have shown that regardless of who they have, they bounce along. They just keep bouncing along, playing. And while they did maybe scuffle early on, they did those first, whatever it was, 40 games. I think they've got a much more confident team now. They know they have guys that can play. Honestly, some of it's a crapshoot anyway, right? Look at you could line up, your three best guys, and Devin Williams can come up and throw one fat pitch in the ninth inning, and now the Mets move on. Right. And I'm not trying to get down on Devin, but how did that game pitch out last year? You had everything you wanted it to be, right? Everything in that game was perfect. Starter was good. Get the runs. Here it is. We're ahead. You have the closer you want, and everything's lined up. As good as it can be. And then sometimes the guy just doesn't do the job he's supposed to do. So you always would like to have every bullet that you could have available. And yet somehow Hoskins goes down, and they trade for Mickey Mantle, which was really kind of crazy. They survived Churio for all those weeks. Like, I don't know. They seem to be a resilient bunch. They seem to have guys that always can fill in and do the job. Here's a bullpen, a bunch of guys that when you started, you're like, okay, I guess we've kind of sewn this thing together, and they're fine. So I'm not going to let them. It's funny where I won't get too far over my ski tips on anybody. Then I'm not ever going to give up on the guys I have. And I think they've shown that the way they play and who they have and the mentality they have, that they'll be fine with everybody. If you go with that way, everybody's either got injuries or demons, right? And
sure.
The Dodgers, the Dodgers are a flawed outfit right now. Philly's missing guys, right? They've got a couple of pitchers that I'm sure they'd love to have back. After 162 games with the attrition, I don't know that anybody's who they want, right? If that's the case, maybe the Yankees are the best outfit with their roster closest to what they want to be. So don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I'm going to be fine.
Everything's going to be all right. J.A., we appreciate you jumping on with us here on The Fan.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll talk.
I'm just sorry I didn't raid the team store this morning like you guys did.
I did not.
The gear.
He did. Buy all the gear. Josh was out there right away last night picking up the gear. I did that last year, you might recall. I got scolded for it from you and Brian Anderson, so I'm not going to do that this year, but I am going to buy it, just not, right away. Mm-hmm. Jay, I appreciate you, man. We'll see you on this week's episode of the Inside Wisconsin podcast. That new one comes out on Thursday. We'll chat with you soon.
Do I have to get out of bed again tomorrow?
Yeah, sorry about that. We got to record tomorrow. Yep.
You should try to do it every day, John.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do.
Josh, I want to, maybe you and Josh and I could do something more around. We could host a noon show. I don't know who the guy is at noon, but maybe
I like that.
We can move that guy to his time slot. All right.
The guys at
Thanks,
noon might
guys.
have
Hey,
something to
Trev.
say, but
Trev, good luck, man. I'm so
I
happy
appreciate
you're there. I'm so happy to get a shot. And I'm hoping desperately that all the rest of your days are not filled with teams that did not quite perform otherwise that we expect. Otherwise, it's going to be a long time. But thanks, brother. Be good.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, this doesn't happen without John Anderson and the Inside Wisconsin podcast. When we started that, this was never the goal. And yet, somehow, here we are, and I owe him so much for that. All right, Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.